Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Silicon Insider Podcast. As you know, we record on Thursday night, and the only real business news this week is occurring tomorrow on Friday. So we'll give you the details of what's going on and what's expected, and you can compare it against what actually happens tomorrow before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the subject, oh, hi, Scott. You're laughing, but you already know. Anything else you'd wanted to cover this week doesn't matter because everybody's riveted on. I got a call from the BBC this morning. They want to have coverage of it too. So anyway, SpaceX IPO tomorrow morning, and we know an actually sizable amount about this, more than we usually do. For example, SpaceX is going out at $135 a share. Now, that's unusual, not just because of its sheer size amount, but it's going to be exactly $135 a share. They're not giving a range and let the market, decide where they're going to open. It's $135 a share, and it will make $75 billion. And before it's over, the valuation will be $1.75 trillion. That will instantly make SpaceX the seventh largest company on the stock exchange. Seventh largest company in America, even though it's only 222nd in terms of royalties. So, buyer beware, folks. I mean, if you can even get in now, because apparently it is 4 times oversubscribed. And the big boys have already come in. Like, latest is BlackRock placed an order for $5 billion worth of SpaceX shares. Now, they're betting on a company that lost $4.9 billion last year and another $4.3 billion in just the first 3 months of this year. So this is a real high-risk speculative stock. What do you think? I mean, is this going to work?
I mean, in the short term, it's going to work, and it's going to be a big pop, and rocketry and SpaceX is sexy. It's exciting. This is going to be the biggest IPO. So many people want in on this. It's not a surprise that it's oversubscribed. You've got rocketry, you've got satellites, you've got that Elon Musk sort of magic dust sprinkled on this. You've got AI in there, even though it's a money-losing AI, but you still have AI. A lot of people want in on this. The question to me is what happens 2, 6, 8 weeks from now when we finally see some sort of a trading range. And that's why it's dangerous to jump in on really any IPO, not to mention something like this. This company has been private for so long. There are a lot of people who have been waiting to get paid. A lot of investors, both on the venture side and the employee side. Let them make their money first and then see what you want to do.
Well, making money first is one of those things about Silicon Valley that I've learned over the years, is that when a really hot company goes public, it's always oversubscribed, mostly by large institutions. And they come in at the best price, and then they hang on. And if it's really taking off, they hang on for a day, 2 days, 2 weeks. Then when it starts to slip, that's when they sell. And all those poor average folks out there who have their orders sitting there, they buy it as it's going down, and they take the loss. And after the stock comes back, if it does, the institutions come back in. And so they actually make the difference, and they end up with the stock.
Yeah, and that's the reason that, the average everyday investor just really shouldn't be playing in this field yet. If you want to buy and invest in a company, and I mean honestly invest for the long term, why jump in on a day when you've got this volcanic eruption of excitement and 4 times oversubscribed? I mean, these are crazy numbers. Why not wait till the company is in some sort of a trading range? And then you can say, this is what I want to buy in. I believe in this company for the long term. Anything else, you're taking a risk. And if you're taking a risk, hey, risk is great. But if you take a risk with anything but, mad money that you can afford to lose, that's a terrible way to invest. And so it's going to be very exciting to watch. But I think the smart money from the individual average, man and woman out there is just going to sit and wait for a little bit.
Well, doing a survey of analysts, one outfit seems to think it's wildly overpriced, and it's probably only worth about $80 a share. That's the floor. But most of them say either $150, and even one goes all the way up to $300 by the end of the day tomorrow, which is pretty extravagant. In the back of my mind, I keep thinking back a week to that Blue Origin rocket. That gigantic explosion conflagration that not only destroyed the rocket, but also the launch pad and the derrick and everything else. I mean, that is still in the possible future for SpaceX too. I mean, this is a very risky business. This isn't just electric cars. This isn't X. It's a real high risk venture that one mistake could take the whole company down, except for Starlink.
Well, right. That's the thing. It wouldn't take the whole company down. SpaceX has had explosions before. It's had launch failures.
Yeah.
It's also managed to build a satellite company that is profitable and that really has very little competition out there. It's very successful, the Starlink wing. So any rocketry company, any space company, I think you're going to have to understand that there are misfires, there are explosions, but there are also very profitable ways to put satellites in space, to reuse rockets now, and that hasn't been done before. And if you don't get a little surge of pride as an American when you see that sort of rocket catcher catch the SpaceX rocket when it comes in, that's an amazing feat of engineering.
It's the most astonishing thing I've seen in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and that's something that's just firing on all cylinders and winning. It's not a Cybertruck. This is something that is absolutely engineering at its best, and that's where this company could go eventually. And I think that's what investors will be betting on.
Yeah, no, I think the upside of all of this will just dwarf the amount of money they're raising. Even the valuation is small if they take us to other worlds and they create infrastructure on those worlds. That's history-changing event that ranks with anything. And if that happens, everybody should be buying stock in this company. But right now, it's one thing to, be smart enough to not get set back by failures of some of your rockets, and you have to blow them up, as soon as they take off. But with people in them, lost in space, and that lonely death out there, that's going to haunt people if it happens. And that's what's sitting out there. It's all based on, I admire Starlink, but Starlink didn't make up for that 4.3 billion loss this year. And it made hundreds of millions of dollars, but it was not sufficient. So the question is this too risky? I appreciate, what you said about Elon's fairy dust, and he's doing one really nice thing. I think it's nice, but most IPOs only offer retail, that is to us regular folks, 5 to 10% of the available shares. SpaceX is offering 30%, which means it's going to have a major contingent of regular investors, not just institutional investors. And I think that's very democratic. But I think it's also taking advantage of Musk's fairy dust.
Right. When you say you don't know if that's good or bad, we don't know if that's good or bad. As of Thursday night, by the way, Mike, I think that's been knocked down into the 20s. But still, you're right. It's more for retail investors than usual. But I think SpaceX just needs that much money and then some. It combines two things, rocketry and AI, that are cash vacuum cleaners. I mean, they absolutely need more money than anything else. And to have both of them in the same company is crazy from a financial perspective. Now, they're getting all this investment from Google and all that stuff. But any investor at this point is a good investor for SpaceX. They just need the money that badly, I think.
Yeah. And these are smart people. I mean, these institutional investors, they have entire wings of buildings dedicated to researching stock. And if they think this is a winner at this price, I mean, this is going to really impact the stock market, this lump of value landing on there. In fact, some of them are even changing the rules on when SpaceX will be eligible to be listed. I think Standard & Poor's is holding the line, but one of the other platforms is saying, you don't have to wait a year. We'll make an exception for you. And I'm curious its impact on the American economy. Also, Musk is incredibly lucky sometimes, and he happens to get a day. He's going to go tomorrow after the market went up 1,000 points today based on Iran. And he couldn't have predicted that. But I think the afterglow of that is going to be to his advantage.
To an extent, I don't think one really has to do with the other. Remember, the stock market gyrations over what's going on from what President Trump says about Iran is 500 to 1,000 points up or down day to day.
Yeah.
He's declared this war over, 38 times now or something?
Something like that. The
stock market goes up. And then
but he has an MOU this time. He has a memo of understanding.
We'll see. In our business, we don't believe that. And also, we've seen the market go down on rumors because of the Middle East. I think the SpaceX thing is going to stand on its own. And again, this is why it's dangerous to get in on day one. It's standing alone because of the hype, because of the excitement. That's great. What is it going to do to the American economy? Think about what it's going to open up venture fund-wise for space, for exploration, maybe for science. These are all great things, and venture capitalists are going to find entire funds. They're going to tap into the American investor vein. Progress will be made. That's awesome. But for the investor, take some time because these things are rocky. They're ups and downs. SpaceX has been private for 20 years?
Yeah.
Now it's going public. Give it some time if you're going to be an investor, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Musk has proven with SpaceX that he can do this. I mean, he's doing a better job right now than NASA, and much more than the Chinese or anybody else. So he's proven he can do it. But it's kind of like Vasco da Gama taking off from Portugal and head around the Cape of Good Hope. That's a long, dangerous trip with low odds of success. He did it, but, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the guy is phenomenal in the sense that he makes high-risk decisions, and he does it decisively, and he gets rewarded for it. And I don't think anybody objects to him being rewarded for taking these risks. I mean, nobody else is doing it, and he's pulling it off, and he's successful. And, he could do it this time. I hope he does. I really hope, because if he gets onto other planets or even onto comets, the amount of raw materials, we're increasingly limited by our access to available raw materials. And the whole solar system is just waiting to be prospected if we can get out there and build an infrastructure. And, I'd like to see it in my lifetime, and he has the highest chance of doing it. But I sense that the next few days in the stock market, investing in SpaceX will be an active arbitrage. You're just trying to find a way to make money off of money real quick. And the big boys are going to be good at that. And if you get caught up in it, in the long run, you might get rich. I mean, everybody at SpaceX is about to be a millionaire. But you may go through a lot of pain before you make back the money you invested.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you try to jump in right away, because these IPOs of any kind, even the profitable ones, tend to go up and down as they try to find a trading range. And that's one of the real interesting things about SpaceX. It's not profitable yet, not close, and yet there's so much excitement. And the trading range, I have little doubt it's going to go way up in the early part of the day or whenever it finally does trade. But 2 weeks in, 6 weeks in, 6 months in, is it still at the IPO price? Who knows? It's going to work on that. It's going to try to get more money out of the Googles of the world. But, it'll cut AI deals because now it's an AI company too. It'll try to convince us that we should have data centers in space, which sounds like, I don't know, the premise of a Mel Brooks comedy. And at the same time, it will say, wow, this satellite business is super profitable and nobody's even nipping at our heels. So there's just so much to this company. It's so big. And that's how you get the biggest IPO. But do you get the biggest winner of all time? Not necessarily.
One thing we know, according to historic precedent, that newly public companies grow slower than their non-public counterparts for X amount of time. Sometimes they just blow past them eventually, but they actually start out slower, which is interesting. And it says something, we have two gigantic IPOs waiting in the wings.
Right.
And, you talked about AI. These are the AI companies. I mean, are they going to be able to play? Are they going to go on the tails of SpaceX, or are they going to be caught up in the, vacillating bubble of AI? And that's OpenAI and Anthropic.
I mean, there's a lot of excitement around each of those. They've raised funds at an enormous rate. I mean, at super, super fast rate, especially Anthropic. People are so hot on that company right now. And they're hot on AI because of the potential of AI. And that's, if you think about it, a good time to take a company public. When you've got a lot of potential, there's excitement, people want to buy in. And if you're the company, hopefully hold and stay as an investor. But they have to do it quickly, I think, because like SpaceX, those two companies are vacuum cleaners for cash. They really need a lot of money for all the compute and data centers and all that stuff. So again, they need to tap into the public markets, which tells you something, that they, after having VCs for years trip over themselves to invest, are saying we need more. We need to tap into the public market. Those companies need a lot of money.
Yeah, and OpenAI wants to build laptops too?
Maybe.
Maybe.
And devices, they hired Johnny Ive for some sort of an AI device.
We'll see. You don't hire him to manage the AI operation.
Right.
Yeah, and that famous designer and Anthropic, I'm looking forward to the check from them for stealing my, intellectual capital.
There you go.
Of a bunch of books. So I hope Anthropic goes through the roof when it goes out. But I don't think they're going to be able to draw on the retail demand for that stock. Partly because I know people are going to be signing up in the millions to buy SpaceX. SpaceX, they understand. And are they going to be cash poor in a couple of weeks when these two companies go out?
That's a fair question. I mean, you think so far the market has stayed pretty high, but Bitcoin is down a bit. Yep. Some of the AI stocks are down a bit. What are people selling so that they can buy SpaceX tomorrow? Granted, by the time people hear this, they will have answered at least part of that question because SpaceX will be public. But yeah, what are people selling now so that they can buy into SpaceX? And will we see a similar drop in some of these stocks as people try to shore up cash to afford to buy into the Anthropic and OpenAI IPOs? We don't know, but that money has to come from somewhere.
I got it. Well, to close out, I got to admit, it's kind of cool to be in such exciting times as this. I mean, we basically have two scientific revolutions going on simultaneously. And I'm sure they're going to have some sort of impact upon each other. It may be we're going to be sending intelligent machines to the stars. because a lot of people, a lot of famous scientists believe that we will never, as human beings, get very far out there, but we can send AI devices to the end of the universe if we want to. And meanwhile,
Yeah.
AI is going to take over more and more of space exploration, and not just physical, but the whole brains of a lot of these activities that are going on right now. We could be in a radically different world in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, my closing thought would be I've heard from previous generations that when, say, Disney was selling stock in the early days, people would want one share because they wanted the stock certificate of this company that was changing the world.
Yeah.
And I wonder if people feel that way, say, about SpaceX. And that's not a reason to jump in and lose money, but it may be a reason that people are really interested in someday owning this stock.
Buy one share, or just
could do
have lunch at Bucks, because that one share will be up there on the wall. So
I believe you're right. Yes.
okay, well that's it for now, folks. Hang on your TVs tomorrow. I mean, we had a wild NBA championship game yesterday. Now we have supposedly a ceasefire in the Middle East, and tomorrow we have the SpaceX IPO. An interesting week to be alive. Take care. Bye-bye.